Hello, welcome to the Edupedia world. In this tutorial, we'll be learning about decision-making statements. Inside that, we'll be learning about switch statement and ternary operator. So far, we have already covered introduction to control flow statements, if statement. Inside if statement, we have covered simple if, else if, nested if, and else if later. So we'll start with the switch statement in this video. Switch statement. A switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of values. Each value is called a case, and the variable being switched on is checked for the case. So what is the need of switch statement? Well, the need of switch statement is if we have multiple conditions. Just consider a case where we are having number of fruits and number of colors, and depending upon color we have to identify the fruit. And let's say we have about 15 to 20 colors and fruits. Then you can see that to write the code we have to write 15 to 20 if-else statements. So the code will really become cumbersome, as there will be a lot of lines of code and lots of if and else. So in that case we have to rescue ourselves with switch statement. So switch statement provide an alternative of if else. Whenever there are multiple conditions, we can use switch statement. So the use of switch statement is that each condition is represented as a case, and the variable on which the condition is placed is called a switch variable. So that switch variable is checked for the condition, and in whichever case it fits, those statements get executed. So it basically reduces the number of lines of codes as compared to if else, and it also makes readability easy since there are not so many if and else. It's a simple switch case, so it's easy to read for a user. So that's the benefits of switch case. Now let's see how it works. Okay guys, so this is a syntax of switch statement in which you are having there's a switch keyword. Inside a switch keyword you write an expression. So your expression can include your switch variable, that is the variable on which you want to place the switch condition. Okay, and then we have cases. So each case is having a specific value. And inside a case, for a particular value to be true, if a particular value gets true, then the statements inside that switch case get executed. Okay, after that we have a optional break statement. So this break statement is optional. So basically what break statement does it just break the control flow of your execution. So whenever a break statement occurs, the code below it won't be executed and it will come out of that curly braces. So as soon as it encounters a break statement, the cases below it won't get executed and it comes out of a switch case. So it really forms a logical situation where you need to use break statement. Simplify it and give you a real life example. Just consider ATM machine. So your ATM machine does contain various options. So whenever you go to an ATM machine, it will give you an option. Do you want to withdraw the cash? Do you want to put in the cash? Do you want to contain a mini statement or maybe cancel? So there are four, let's say there are four options in your ATM machine. So depending upon the input that user gives, it does perform a particular task. So that this can be accomplished using a switch statement. Just consider a variable, integer variable, let's say a. Now a will get a value from user, whatever user will press. Let's say user has pressed option 2, which is to withdraw the cash. So depending upon that, we'll have four cases: case 1, case 2, case 3, and case 4. So the case and the value will be the value that user will input. Here the user is inputting the value either 1, 2, 3 or 4. So depending on that we'll have 4 cases, and after that we write the statement. So if the user has entered for the case second, that is the value in A is 2, then statement in second case will get executed. So yeah, we'll be doing this example shortly, and we'll see how it works with the switch statement. Okay, so as of now, this is the syntax, and yeah, after a break statement is executed, the case following it won't be executed. And let's say if it is not having any of the cases, let's say if a user pressed 5 and I haven't written a case for 5, then it will automatically go to a default case. So you usually need to mention a default case just to be, safe. If user enters any of output input that is not included in your case, then it will go to a default thing. So default work similar to else case in if. So if nothing is out of the cases we have written, it will go to automatically to the default case. So default is optional. So in case you don't want to write default, it's okay. You need not provide it. Okay, so the variable used in a switch statement can only be integer, convertible integer, string, and enum. So yeah, this is a restriction on a switch case. Like in if case, you can include anything. It could be, like a string or anything else. But in case of a switch case, it need to be only an integer or a convertible integer, that is byte, char, short, string, and enum. So it cannot include like object types. It cannot include floating point. So that's the problem with the switch case. I won't say it's a problem, but it's a restriction on a switch case. So the switch statement, the expression, the variable can only be one of these. You can have any number of case statements within a switch. Yeah, that's true. You can have 10 or 100 or even 1. Okay, depending upon your case. Each case is followed by a value to be compared to and a colon. So you can see, as we have written in a syntax, that after each case there need to be a value. Like if this variable is having this value, then these statement will be executed. So after the value we also need to place a colon. So this is how like it's written, it's the syntax. Okay, the value for a case must be same data type as the variable. So yeah, if you are using switch variable as integer, then the value should also be integer and must be constant or a literal. So it only can be a constant. You cannot include another variable in the case value. When a variable being switched is equal to the case, the statement following that case will execute until the break statement is reached. So yeah, that's what I have told you. It will keep on executing until break is reached. When a break statement is reached, the switch terminates and the flow of control jumps to the next line following the switch statement. So yeah, it will just come out of the switch statement curly braces, and whatever written below it will start executing. Not every case needs to contain a break, so yeah, it's not compulsory, it's optional. If you still want to execute each and every case no matter what, then you need not include break. It's only included just to ensure if one case is executed, then the cases below it are getting ignored. A switch statement can have optional default case, which must appear at end of switch. The default case can be used for performing a task when none of the case is true and no break is needed in default case. That is because default is always a last case, so there is nothing below it. It will anyway come out of it. So even if you are including a break or not including, it won't make a difference. Okay, so this is like, diagrammatically how can you show the switch statement flow. So there is the expression. Depending upon the value in that expression, the case is getting executed. So if the expression contains a value 1, then the case 1 is executed. If the expression contains the value as 2, case 2 or 3, and in case of a default case, this is a code block that is executed. And finally, it comes out of a switch case. So, yeah. And well, this is like if statement, you can say a diagrammatical representation. I have included it over here just to show you the difference between the two. In case of a if statement, we do have a condition. If that condition is true, then it will go to the if code block. If the condition is false, it will go to the else code block. So I hope the difference is clear, and it is also clear when to use switch and when to use if. Switch is always better if you have, multiple conditions, just to make sure that it also the conditional variables need to be falling in the restriction that switch has, that it need to be an integer, string, or enum. So this is an example of switch case. So in this example, you can see we are having a class test, then we are having a main method, and inside a main method we are taking a input grade. So over here we are hard coding the value of grade as C. In real life scenario, you can take this input from a user from maybe the command line argument, and once you have got the value of grade, then you can write your switch case. So inside a switch case, we have included this grade variable. So grade is our switch variable. Okay, so this I have included within a switch case. And depending upon the value of grade, let's say the value of grade is A, then this case will execute. Over here, the value of grade is C. So it will come to this case, and this case will execute where it will say well done. Okay. And over here you can see I've written a case B and I haven't included any statement inside it. So this is also perfectly fine. If you don't want to print anything, you can just leave that case as it is. And after that, I have also included a default case. So if it's not any of A, B, and C, then it automatically goes to invalid grade, the default case. Okay guys, now we are going to try an example of switch case. So let me just, create a class. So I'm going to right click on a package, go to new, and then I'm going to class, and then I'm going to name it as switch example. Inside that, let me create a public static void main. So the example that we are trying is, it's a simple ATM machine example. So yeah, we are trying to make a simple ATM machine that will allow you to either withdraw your cash or either put in your cash. You can view your mini statement or simply cancel or exit. Okay. So yeah, let me just write the menu so that user is aware of what he wants to do and what options that are available. So I'm writing actually see what are the options available to him, and once this is done, we can take user input. So in this program, I'm also going to teach you how you can take users input, and to do that, um okay, let's see, how you can learn to do that yourself, because yeah, I can easily tell you, but in case you want to search yourself and how you can do that, so let me tell you that. So just try finding it yourself as I'm doing in front of you. So yeah, you can see how to take user input in Java. So this looks good to me. I'm just clicking on that, and yeah, it's saying something about the scanner class. We'll read the detail of this class later on, but over here I can see this is telling me how to create new scanner object. So this is how I create an object, and this is how it's taking the input. So it's creating a object user input, and from user input next it's taking the input as first name. So let me try doing that. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. and then I also need to take the input. So yeah, now let me just import the scanner class, and let me create input. Okay, so this variable will include the user's input like this. Okay, so it's saying change the type of input to string. Well, I know another trick of doing that. So I have changed instead of int to int next int. So next int will make sure that the input that we are giving is converted to int before it is stored into input. So if when I was only doing next, it was expecting me to take the input in a string. But if you don't want to do that, you can simply do dot next int. Okay, so it will make sure that your input is coming as a integer. Fine, so now our input will come as an integer, and what we can do now is, depending upon user input, we can make this input variable as our switch variable. So just write switch keyword, inside that put that variable. So this is how we do write our switch, and after that I'm going to make cases. So case 1, then case 2, case 3, and then let me try to make a default case. Yes, see, I have erased that press 4 to exit. Instead of that, I am putting that as a default case. So if it's not out of 1, 2, or 3, it's going in a default case. So these are 4 cases. Now let me write something inside that case. So for case 1, over here I'm not implementing a logic to do actually the insert cache, but what I'm doing is I'm simply typing to just to display like this method will allow you to insert your cache. So just to provide you like the I'm not concentrating on the functionality how ATM works over here, but I'm rather concentrating on how switch case will work over here, just to show you like how switch case will enable you to give options to choose from uh, various things that you can do in your ATM machine. So I'm simply writing this will allow you to insert cache. Fine. And after that I'm putting break. Now let me also write similar types of statements for case 2 and case 3. I'm just going to change the text. This will allow you to withdraw cache. This will allow you to view mini statement. Fine. And in default case, since I want a default case simply to exit it, so that's why I'm going to write system.exit. So yeah, system.exit will actually make the control, or it will actually exit your program. So this is how it works. Now let me try running this program and see what will be the output. So see, internally, initially it's giving us the menu. It's showing us press 1 to insert cache, press 2 to withdraw cache, and press 3 to view menu statement. So let me print 2 and put enter. So as soon as I enter 2 and press enter, it will giving me, this will allow you to withdraw cache. So that was our case 2, which will show you this will allow you to withdraw cache. And since I have written break, so it's it's nothing, it's not doing anything, and it simply terminated our program. So this is how case statement work. Now let me just remove the break statement just to show you what will be the impact. Now I'm again running my program, and I'm again pressing the same input, that is 2 to withdraw the cache. You can see it executed. This will allow you to withdraw cash. After that, it is also printing. This will allow you to view mini statement. Why is it so? Because once there is no break statement, so your program cannot exit out of a switch case. So it has printed that, and after that it is going to check for case 3, which is false. Again it is going to check for default case, which is true, because default is, it will anyway execute in case of any of the cases. So this is also happening over here, and case 3 is also happening. Although it's false, but since you have executed your case 2, and whatever written below it will also get executed, since you are not facing any break. So this is the reason why we need to put the break statement, so that the execution will stop once that case is true. So I'm just going to put the break again, and now we are going to just run, default case. Now let me put 7 as an input. So you can see nothing happens. It just came out of our program. That's because we have written system.exit. So I hope that this program was really beneficial. In this program, we actually learned 3 things. One is how to, implement switch case, how to take user input using a scanner object, and how to use system.exit. And one more important thing is we also used a break statement. So we also are now able to understand how break works. So I hope this was beneficial. Okay guys, now the last topic in this video is ternary operator. So we have already covered the conditional operator in our previous chapter where we were studying the operators, and you know that it can be used to replace if-else statements. So this is a syntax for ternary operator where we need to write expression 1. If that expression 1 is true, then it will execute expression 2, otherwise it will execute expression 3. So that's what the rule says. If the value of expression 1 is true, then the value of expression 2 will be the value of whole expression. If the value of expression 1 is false, then the expression 3 is evaluated and its value becomes the value of entire expression. So yeah, I hope that's clear. Since ternary operator we have already used, so that's why I'm not, stressing again on that. So I hope you enjoyed it. So thank you guys. Let's meet in the next tutorial.